This is the explainer video for the Innocentive challenge looking for wireless power transmission to deliver power to drones in flight. My name is Will Reed. My idea is that specialized drones could carry fresh batteries out into the field and automatically swap them out for working drones with depleted batteries. The precedent for this idea is standard fuel-using aircraft. If an aircraft needs to be refueled in flight, it is brought plane fuel by another aircraft. It is not fueled up by rays or other methods. The idea of bringing power to drones in flight could be done the same way. Persons who use drones in the field often bring a bag of spare batteries and replace them as needed. This would essentially be the same thing, except instead of a handler bringing the batteries and replacing them by hand, the batteries are brought out to the area where the drones are operating by a second battery-bearing drone. I do not actually own any drones, and so I have made a cartoon mock-up of how I think this could work. First, a large battery-bearing drone will enter the work area of field drones, and then a drone with a depleted battery will land on top of the battery-bearing drone. I've drawn the battery-bearing drone with fiducials because the drones to receive a battery will land and be oriented atop the battery-bearing drone to facilitate the battery swap maneuver. Once the drone with the depleted battery is atop the battery-bearing drone, the old battery is moved into the battery-bearing drone and a new battery moved out. There's a very slick video showing this process, although on a specialized table. I did not get permission from the owners to use that video in my explainer video here, but do click on the link and take a look at how slick they have made this work. That link is also in my text submission. Once it has a new battery, the field drone leaves and carries on whatever it was doing. The battery-bearing drone, might stay in the area to replace batteries for additional drones or could go back to base to get fresh batteries for the field. In this video, the battery swap is happening in the air because that was what the challenge mandated. In some circumstances, the ground is not a good place for drones. There's vegetation, irregular surfaces, or maybe hostile people on the ground, such that drones would be best carrying out the battery swap in the air. If conditions for drones are good on the ground, the battery-bearing drone could land and then hold very still and save power. Various drones in the area could come to it, and the battery swap could be carried out with both drones on the ground. Some additional ideas. If the large battery-bearing drone had onboard fuel or some other access to power, it could charge its own battery as well as any depleted batteries it had picked up. Then it could use these batteries for the next replacement cycle and would not need to return to base to get fresh batteries. Also, the battery-bearing drone could bring an entire damaged drone home. Currently, if a drone is damaged, it must either be abandoned or somebody must come out to the field to pick it up and fix it. If the drone were not damaged so badly that it could not get onto the battery-bearing drone, it could ride the battery-bearing drone home, be repaired, and returned to the field. Overall, the idea here is do the minimum necessary to get the job done. A drone with a dying battery in the field needs a new battery. Bring it a battery. This interaction is not sci-fi or spooky rays, but just robots interacting with other robots, and well within the abilities of current technology.